What you are about to see is a remote viewing session by Shantae, where the focus is on the origin of the so-called drones that appeared in huge numbers over the eastern United States and worldwide, starting on the 18th of November 2024. The remote viewing session was conducted under totally blind conditions by the remote viewer, which means that she had no prior knowledge of the target or the nature of the project while she was doing her session. Now, the exact target for this project is the drones appearing to emerge from the sea or off the east coast of the United States in November and December 2024.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Deep News. Here we have Shantae. All right, Shantae. So just to be clear before we start the target, you have no idea what the target is?
That's right.
All righty. So why don't you just take it away? Start us off with your initial target perceptions on page 4 and just you can go from there.
All right, so first I have a base surface with level topography and man-made land. I have a distant natural area with distant mountains. There's multiple surface structures. I have orange and gray hues, multiple non-surface structures, movement in one direction, a man-made environment, and moderate temperatures here. I have a little sketch that shows man-made land area, multiple non-surface structures, and a distant natural land area. For my next few perceptions, I have a base surface with irregular topography, natural and man-made land, a land-water interface with man-made smells, cloud dynamics that are natural, multiple surface structures, natural objects like rocks, mountains, foliage. There's many subjects and multiple mountains, multiple non-surface structures, bright light, and a natural environment. I also have some multi-directional movement, fast kinetic energetics, movement by subjects, movement by objects, wind sounds, loud sounds, cool temperatures, and my dominant session element here was energetics in a natural environment. For my first flash sketch, I just have multiple surface structures. They have tall, hard, man-made feel, and I've deducted their modern structures. My next flash sketch, I have a natural land area with foliage and subjects outside on the base surface, surrounded by multiple surface structures nearby. I've deducted this natural land area as like a green space. My next flash sketch is the interior of a structure. I have a man-made object that I deduct as like a barrier or some sort of furniture, and there's multiple subjects inside this area with bright lighting. My next flash sketch is an urban environment. There's multiple surface structures. It feels like a busy area with many subjects. I have multi-directional movement and a man-made base surface. Moving around, looking at what else is at the target here, I picked up a man-made object that has this kind of curved shape with hard metallic hues. I have subjects on the base surface outside in a natural land environment, and I also picked up a circular shaped non-surface structure that I labeled non-surface object A, or NSO-A. Moving on to another flash sketch of the area here, I have a land-water interface. There's man-made objects near water on the base surface, and I have a natural land area with subjects and man-made land. Another flash sketch has extensive foliage in a natural environment, and I have another land-water interface with man-made land area that's like surrounded by water, or there's water on both sides, and there's multiple surface structures here. Moving on to focus 1 at the center of the target, I perceived a base surface with energetics and movement that goes up or outward. I have a surface structure that has multiple levels. There's energetics like light or radiating energetics, and I also have cloud dynamics. I was seeing also this striped pattern or movement downwards and energetic movement away from an object on the base surface. And I deducted there's like a field of energy near the base surface. Continuing, probing at focus 1 here, I have this dome-shaped circular object. This is a structure on or in the water. I have energetics at the interior, some circular movement, and in this area I have multiple structures on the water. Doing a hands grab, the structure here, the structures on the water seem rectangular. Continuing to probe and looking up at this area, I see multiple non-surface structures that I'll call NSO, or non-surface object group X. I have cloud dynamics, gray hues. There's one of these non-surface objects that has a diamond or angular shape, and I labeled that non-surface object B as in boy. And below I have a watery base surface, and this general location I labeled location R. Next, moving inside this non-surface object B as in boy, I have gray and white hues, multi-directional movement of objects. There's like repetitive movements. I have bright lights, energetics that feel electrical or magnetic. There's man-made objects with black and metallic hues, and this feels like a compact space. I have a little sketch to the side here. Next, at location R, following this non-surface object group X, initially have non-surface object group X at location R. Moving back in time a bit, I see this group over a mountainous base surface area, and there's multiple other surface structures here as well. Continuing to move back in time, I see this group at a higher distance above the base surface, and what I'm deducting is a remote area, but there's an extensive, harsh natural land area here. I have cold temperatures and what seems to be minimal activity. Continuing to move back further, I now see this group over a very busy urban environment with heavy cloud dynamics. Continuing, moving along this timeline, I see a very distant base surface, and I've deducted that this group X is now above Earth's atmosphere. I see a sphere that looks like, I guess what I've deducted is Earth atmosphere. And moving continuously back, there's a few additional non-surface structures nearby, but I have minimal activity. Continuing, I see this group above the base surface with grayish blue hues, and there's another sphere that it's a different appearance, and I label this location Q. And continuing to move back, I now have the objects at the base surface. There's multiple surface structures nearby and multiple subjects here as well. Zooming out at location Q, I have a flash sketch that has multiple surface structures on the base surface. I have some blue hues areas as well, and there's this opening to something that's covering the structures on the surface here. Looking at the non-surface object landing, I see a structure that I've deducted is like an airplane hangar, but it's a large structure, and the non-surface object group X is on the base surface here, kind of contained or within this structure. And there's a few subjects in this area as well.
All right, fascinating. So I see with your last couple pages this structure that has the non-surface object group X inside of it. You deducted airplane hangar. You said that, and you said it was like a canopy on page 20. Just sort of, I guess they're in a contained space, a sort of space. You want to learn the target?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So the target for this month's Deep News is drones emerging from the sea.
Whoa, from the sea.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen the news. There are basically drones, well, the media calls them drones, that are appearing, and we wanted to find out where they're coming from. So the drones, the focus for Focus 1 is the drones appearing to emerge from the sea or off the east coast of the United States in November and December 2024. So, that was the target.
Sweet. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
So I have them coming from some other sphere or
yeah,
I
it
guess
looks like they
planet.
might be coming from space in some way.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you also found a interesting curved structure that was in the water as well. Just to point out, there was an episode of the Sean Ryan show that came out not too long ago where they did discuss that. I believe it was the person who was responsible for the Tesla car bombing at Trump Tower in Las Vegas. And that guy apparently had like this email or some sort of letter or something. I'm not quite sure the super details on it, but he basically blames the drones from on China. He said that they're coming from submarines off the coast of China. I mean, off the coast of the United States, and these submarines are sort of letting out these drones. Now, it was interesting seeing that letter and also seeing your perception, because you do clearly have some sort of interesting object in the water as well as their trajectory coming from space. So, however, I would also emphasize that there is a bit of an idea of maybe an agenda coming from the idea that they would even mention China in the same breath as these drones. Because the second that you admit that these drones are not coming from one of the countries around us, then suddenly you're either dealing with aliens actively messing with us, or there being a secret space program. And I would imagine, with the vehement amount of secrecy that has been kept about the secret space program, they would do anything and everything they can to deflect attention away from anomalous phenomena like these drones. So if you imagine there is one group of Pentagon officials who would like disclosure, and they are connected to a secret space program, and then the secret space program's just unable to get control of the media, so they're just going to do these mass flybys with these drones using anti-gravity technology, which is what the letter stipulated as well, that it's anti-gravity technology. And they send those things from space because it's a secret space program. The other side of the table would have a very big vested interest in saying, no, that's not a secret space program. It's just fancy technology, which is not in any larger craft. It's just in little drones, and it comes from China. So we have to be angry at China, everybody. Remember, don't look into space, be angry at China. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's your session clearly shows that there is a extraterrestrial, in the sense of not on planet Earth or not limited to planet Earth, element to these drones. And that was fascinating. So yeah, great session.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions or comments?
I'm just looking back through my timeline.
That was a good timeline. You had quite a number of cool little sketches there.
Yeah, I guess it's also interesting. Like, I guess we've been seeing the news of. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't keep up with the news that well, but I've gotten some idea of like the drones are maybe like mainly in like the upper East Coast, I guess. But it's interesting to see just the many environments that they are going to, because
Yeah.
I think even if they're just reporting that they're in that area, like they're going to be all over the place. I don't know. So just seeing the many places that they actually have been around, these more like remote areas or different topographies and stuff. It's interesting.
Clearly. I mean, you have cold temperatures and mountains with like what you drew as like snow-capped peaks and stuff. I mean, maybe these drones, just from your description, just if I was going to make some inferences or guesses from your timeline, they seem to have been passing at some times through these Arctic mountainous environments, and then they seem to be in these urban environments, and then they seem to be at the target location, which is off the coast, dealing with the Coast Guard, and then they're in space. It's pretty fascinating. And then they're on another base surface, which and if they're on another base surface, you said that their landing location off the planet was an enclosed location, so it wasn't really like people walking around on the surface as much as people walking around on a base surface that's enclosed in these canopies or something. So that would make sense of artificially controlled environments that would allow human beings to just walk around and sort of be on these extraterrestrial locations. So it's your timeline does reveal quite a lot of information, which is fascinating.
Thank you.
All right. Any last questions, comments?
Nope.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Shantae, and thank you everybody else for watching.